Welcome back to another live ExtraTyne on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel, which is now part of the 90-Min Football Network. We've kept it in the family this week. We've got, as ever, we've got Laura joining us, and then we've borrowed Matty, and we've also borrowed Jack. How's it going, everyone? Are we all good?
Good, thank you.
Good. Good. Let's get straight into it. I think we've got a lot to talk about. So last week, we went into the game on Sunday with no hopes whatsoever. I think me and Laura predicted, I've got them written down. Laura said 1-0 Spurs. I said 0-0, which was really optimistic. Laura, how did you feel? Talk us through it, because we were not expecting a happy, positive podcast this week, but we've somehow got one.
Yes, it's been a long time coming, but we've finally got something positive to talk about. I thought it was way more positive, way more attacking. I actually enjoyed watching it. I think both sides were lacking defensively, and I think that's what made it so good to watch, because it was end to end and there was so many chances. I can't remember off the top of my head. Was it 15 attempts on goal we had, or something mad like that?
Something like that, yeah.
We've never had that before.
I think it was more. I think it was like 22 shots.
I don't think that's happened all season. So it was just, I think it's just a shame we didn't take those chances, and I think that was purely down to not enough game time for the likes of Gale, and confidence, and obviously Joelinton lacking confidence. I know he got his goal, but there was a couple of other chances that he could have tucked away, I think, had he been like more confident and knocking the goals in. So, but overall, I'm trying not to be negative, because I was really pleased, and I personally didn't, I know we're going to touch on it later, but I didn't say it as 2 points dropped, because I wasn't expecting anything anyway. So
yeah, that we'll go to that next, actually, because we do our predictions every week at the end of ExtraTyne, and like I've just said, Laura said that it would be 1-0 Spurs. I thought it was going to be a really boring game. I thought Mourinho would come to park the bus, and there would be nothing to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about. But Matty, did you feel, even though we went into the game with such low well, I know we did, I'm assuming you did as well. We went into the game with such low expectations, to then snatch, not even snatch, to get a point obviously is so positive. But the way that we played, do you feel that it was 2 points dropped, or are you just happy to accept the point?
Yeah, I'm still positive about it, and I'm just going to sort of counteract Laura's positivity with a bit more negativity, though, a bit more slice of realism.
It wouldn't be ExtraTyne if there wasn't a tinge of negativity.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I sort of walked out the house after we got the point, and sort of dabbed my sweaty brow and just was like, oh well, take a point, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, as much as I thought we played better, of course we did the stats show that we did. I just thought it was a very poor Spurs side. I thought, we were both still lacking that little bit of defensive organisation. Like Laura said, led to a very good game, but there was chances there for the game to be won, and it just felt like an opportunity missed. But if you'd have said before the game, Spurs at home with the run that we've been having, with the Brighton horror show that we had, would I have took a point? Of course I would have. But it was just everything encapsulated in one. Joelinton goes and scores 6 minutes later, we're 2-1 down. You just think, well, here we go, we're absolutely cack again. But we managed to rescue it. We managed to show some fight, and we'll get onto it. But the likes of Saint-Maximin coming back, and the likes of Ritchie and Murphy having an effect on the game, you have to be happy in the end, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like, because again we touched on this last week, but it felt like it was written in the stars. It was a bank holiday Sunday. It was against Spurs. Joelinton steps up. He's been hammered all season, more often than not, rightly so. But he stepped up when it mattered on Sunday, and he got the goal. Jack, how happy were you for Joelinton on Sunday?
It's a hard one, because I can't say I was ecstatic over it, because looking back over the 90 minutes, he probably could have scored a hat-trick for the first time, which I think would have been unbelievable. It would never happen. But I was happy for Joelinton, but the problem is, I think we're past the point of now of, he's got his goal, he's going to come, maybe he'll come into his own, he's feeling a bit more comfortable. I just don't think it's ever going to come. I can't, like, if he scores again on Burnley, if he scores again at Burnley, well, fair enough. I'll take my hat off to him. But yeah, I can't see. That's probably his last goal for the end of the season, so I can't get too happy for him. But I hope he does prove me wrong. He took his goal really well. The finish was spot on. It's very unlike him. But yeah, it's a hard one really, because
I think. Sorry, I just think we're giving him a lot of credit for scoring one goal. However many games. When at the end of the day, that's his job. Well, okay, but
I didn't give
a
him
lot of
credit.
teamwork. No,
I'd have scored that.
It's not like when Miggy scored. You know, when Miggy had that when he scored not Christmas gone, the Christmas before, and everyone was just absolutely buzzing. But I think everyone was buzzing because he'd grafted, and like you could see what it meant to him. Obviously, that goal is going to mean a lot to Joelinton on Sunday.
I did feel sorry for Joelinton because if you notice when Kane scores, it goes straight to Joelinton, and he just looked devastated. Like sort of ruined his moment. So.
Yeah. I think you tweeted about it, Jess, didn't you? You tweeted and said first time he scores an age and we write it off just like that. And I know I said I wasn't buzzing like happy for him. I was happy for him and his smile. It was a lovely smile, and Aaron's jumping on his back like Yoda. It was amazing. But at the same time, like Jack said, that happiness dissipated because of the bad defending. But then when he had them chances later on, that one where he literally stood with his hands on his hips, just doing nothing, not on his toes in the box, and that ball gets flicked on, which ended up being onside. It got given offside, but it would have been checked. And he sort of just gets to total with. But if he was alive to it, he could have tapped it in again from 2 yards. It was just, I was back to being frustrated at Joelinton within a small amount of minutes. That's all.
Yeah.
I do think
it's quite the contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Joelinton was definitely more in the box. I don't know if everybody would agree.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I feel like whenever, because the whole game plan was always like Ritchie and Murphy were getting early balls in rather than running down the line. They'd always cross the ball in early, and he seemed to rotate around Gale between the crosses, and it actually worked a lot better. Are you a fan of five at the back? I guess it didn't feel like.
Depends how it's utilised, mate. It depends, and it helps if you play with one of those striker things as well. I think personally, I know Bruce doesn't like it that much because it messes up the system. But I know he missed the chances. We'll get on to it. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but Gale missed them chances. I know he did, but just it seemed different having square pegs and square holes. I know, right? Murphy's not exactly a right wing back by trade, but it just seemed to help instead of having these weird false positions. Yeah. I think it just we could totally tell.
Yeah, Matty, I'm going to stick with you there. Matt Ritchie. He got the club posted about him on their Instagram and on Twitter and whatever, saying it was a good performance. I know you thought it was as well. So talk us through how vital was Matt Ritchie on Sunday, and how good is it to have him back?
It's an understated vital, but vital nonetheless. It wasn't a swashbuckling absolute 5-star, took the game by the scruff of the neck performance, but you could just tell. My old man, he said that you could tell within 10 minutes that Ritchie was clapping. He was trying to get first to every ball, but he was clapping when people were knocking the ball out and stuff. Like, you could hear him on the pitch. Yeah. And I think we've missed that for so long. I mean, Lascelles is meant to be this leader. I'm not sure what's going on with him at the moment because I'm sort of not seeing that. We've had this discussion before. So he just injected this enthusiasm that's really infectious to the starting 11, I feel. And then on that left, when he plays that wing-back position, we've always said he hasn't got pace, so he doesn't have to beat his man. He just needs to get just past the halfway line, knock the ball forward a bit and whip it into the box. And a goal came from it. His pressing led to getting the ball for the first goal. So, yeah, he's played a huge part in a decent result. But I just think right now it's not about quality, it's about enthusiasm and attitude. Yeah. So Matt Ritchie, for me, has to be playing every game. And I know people might still tear strips off him when he does something wrong or loses the ball and say he's championship quality. But right now we're in the trenches, and you need someone like Matt Ritchie in the trenches with you. You still need that quality, don't get me wrong. You need Saint-Maximin back, you need Wilson back, you need players that are going to put the ball in the back of the net. But you need someone to take, just take the lads, bring them together and just encourage them. And that's what Matt Ritchie does. So he was short answer. Yeah, he was really good.
I do think that
cheerleader, isn't he? He's like an on-pitch cheerleader.
Yeah. Did you watch the video of the match cam? I do enjoy when the club do them. Where it's sort of just behind the goal, and I don't know if it's Ritchie shouting J9, which is embarrassing.
I think that's Murphy.
Is that Murphy? I hope that's not what they call him at the training ground when he walks.
I reckon they do. Like, I reckon that's his name.
Yeah, but yeah, you can hear Ritchie's enthusiasm there, and
Yeah.
I think it's
But that video of when someone zoomed in on him when the goal goes in,
He's
he's
heading
heading the ball himself, and then that's exactly about Ritchie. That's what I love about him. And look, when he was getting linked to go to Bournemouth, I don't know if it was the last two transfer windows, it looked like it might be happening. I was just like, well, yeah, maybe it is time for you to go, but you will be missed. It was one of those ones where it was like, you probably basically John Joe Shelby 2 seasons ago, in my opinion. Like, just like, if John Joe Shelby would have left, I'd have been like, well, as long as we replace him, it's a shame to see him go. But now he's hung on for too long, and that's a different story. But Matt Ritchie, for me, he's been a really good servant for this club, and I just like to see him do well.
Yeah, he is one of them that you just want him to do well. Yeah, definitely. I know. So Matty's just touched on it there and said that obviously you need the likes of Matt Ritchie, but you also need like the quality players as well. And Sunday saw the return of Alan Saint-Maximin. Laura, I know he only played, was it like 20 minutes, I think? He came on 70th minute or something. Was that right?
remember.
Like that. So he didn't really have that much of a time making an impact. But Laura, how happy are you to see him back?
It is a massive boost because obviously he's so talented. But for me, I feel like I always call him, and I don't mean it. For me, he's just, yes, he's amazingly talented and he does all these tricks. And yes, he made that space for Ritchie to cross the ball for the goal. But I would way rather have a Ritchie on the pitch in a relegation battle than Alan Saint-Maximin. I don't think he's got the qualities.
I totally agree.
But I think in a relegation battle, I mean, only because I think, like we were touching on earlier, Matt Ritchie isn't the greatest player. However, he's got that enthusiasm, that passion, that fight, encouraging all the other players. I don't think Maximum's got that. He's got the quality, but of course he has. But I think his attitude is sometimes lacking in a game where he's not getting the ball all the time. In these bigger games that we've got coming up, I do feel like his head might go down if he's not getting his way, kind of thing. But it was a boost. Sorry?
He spits his dummy out.
Yeah, massively. And I've said this before. I think I like a good attitude, and I think he sometimes lacks that.
Yeah,
it's a proper school teacher coming out in you there, Laura, isn't it? I love this. You need to write report cards at the end of this season.
I don't give a shit if you don't get everything right, as long as you try, and that's my attitude for the football as well.
So it's good to see the return of Alan Saint-Maximin. Jack, Jose Mourinho. Yeah. See, he just can't seem to handle us. What do you think it is?
I mean, you could have said it was the crowd originally, the St. James's Park crowd, but it's not really, nobody's there, to be honest. So maybe he's just a bit cursed. And I know he's been linked with, he says he's a little magpie. I think that's what he called himself. And he's obviously got a lot of respect for the club. And that sort of romantic side of it, you'd think, everybody sort of hates Mourinho in the media and everybody sort of hates Newcastle. So, yeah, maybe we're a perfect match.
In heaven.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you look at his record at St. James's Park and, maybe
probably the same as Bruce's, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Same amount of wins, I think. But, a lot of people sort of say that they want Mourinho to be manager somewhere down the line. He's sort of fit for purpose for us. But, I mean, looking at his record against us, it might not be a great thing after all. I tell you what, though, I would quite like to see Mourinho at Newcastle somewhere down the line just for that Sir Bobby Robson link. But I think it's just maybe he just likes us so much he gives us a bit of a chance,
That's what
I feel sorry for us.
That's what I tell myself that.
Yeah. But I think the way he sets up that Spurs team didn't really it's sort of what we like because they didn't attack us too much. I don't think they didn't really press us. I didn't feel. I feel like they give us a bit of space, which a lot of our players need a bit more time, and it stops us hoofing the ball up. So I didn't feel like we were constantly launching the ball up this time. I know when John Joe Shelby moved into centre back, which scared the life out of me at first. Yeah, I know that's when balls started going a bit long, but yeah, I think the way he set up against us is, I think he thought, oh well, if I give Newcastle the ball, they're not going to do anything with it. But this time we actually went in with a bit of a game plan where it was get the ball into the box early. And I think if we had Andy Carroll on instead of Gale, I felt Gale played okay, but I think if Carroll was playing in that system with Joelinton up top with him, I think they would have probably won that game in the end, which is surprising, seeing as I thought we'd probably get hammered 3-0. I did the thumbnail for the live reaction. And, I keep putting it down as like 4-0, 3-0 and hope I don't have to change it. But yeah, it was nice to change it to 2-2 in the end, I guess. Yeah,
definitely. Now, so on Sunday, and people were the credit in the players, the credit in Bruce. Well, not many people credit in Bruce. Credit in whoever. I'm crediting me for the win for the draw on Sunday. So I left the room to go for a wee, and Joelinton scored. I left the room to go and get a drink, and Joe Willock scored. So I stayed out of the room for the rest of the game and sat outside of the room while they watched the match on the telly and just listened to it, which was torture, by the way. Like, took us back to the days, you know, when if it wasn't on the telly and you would listen to it on the radio, and you've only got what they're saying, and like in your head when you watch it back and you see the bits that they've been describing, and it's completely different to what you imagine. So that's how I dealt with it on Sunday. I just had to listen to it and listen to the reaction of the people that I was with. So we thought that we would talk about any goals that you've missed. So we put it out on Twitter as always, and again the response was incredible. He never let us down. So we wanted to know any goals or incidents that you might have missed. Like I did, I missed 2. And then any superstitions or rituals that you might have, like me staying out of the room because I totally thought it was my fault. So I've got a few here to go through, and then I'll come to you and ask if you have got any, because I'm sure we'll all have 1 or 2. So Jack M 1892 left the 4-4 with Arsenal at half time.
I know a few people who've done that, like.
Yeah, and it was. He said, "Nobody believes me, but I don't regret it and feel it was justified. We'd sold Carroll on the Monday. I'd seen us lose to Fulham away on the Wednesday. I'd sacked off a weekend in Nottingham early to watch them pricks, and we were 3 down in 12 minutes. Fuck that."
Well, he was justified at the time. I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone. Yeah. I mean, I've never left the ground early, but I wouldn't blame anyone really. Oh, you know, I would Newcastle to come back from 4-0 down. You know, the way we were at the time, but you can't say you don't regret it.
Yeah, I don't believe him.
Jack, you are a bullshitter. Twitter Jack, not Jack. Twitter Jack, you are full of shit. I'm sorry, Jack.
It's one way to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, it's all in bullshit. Yeah. We had Doug, lovely Doug off the corner.
I love this one.
This is absolutely brilliant.
I love it.
He went to Lisbon in 2005 and wore his lucky kilt, which had no pockets, so his mate had his ticket. He met his mates outside the ground, got talking, and the mate who had the ticket went in, forgetting that he had Doug's ticket. He had no phone signal, no sympathy from the Portuguese police who were laughing at the man in a skirt. At half-time, we were 1-0 up. My mate realised and came to find a very pissed off me sat outside the turnstile. I got into the second half, a 4-1 thrashing. Not my favourite.
You know what I can't believe about that, though? He took his mate till half-time to realise he wasn't there.
I mean, they were in Portugal, so I'd imagine they were absolutely hammered, yeah. And then Nicola Winthrop replied as well, saying, 17th of September 1997, and it was the biggest game of my life. Barcelona at home. Only me and my dad had to wait outside the ground as our cup tickets hadn't turned up in the post. We missed the first 10 minutes while the club checked no one had sat in our seats.
Oh.
So
she didn't miss all the goals then, though. Is that the 3-2 she's talking about, yeah? She's talking about Tino scoring the hat-trick. Well, she only missed that much, though. So
I think it's just the fact that she missed part of the biggest game.
Yeah, the big build and everything.
I wasn't there. I have no sympathy for this girl either. Next one.
That is brutal, and
Right, Graham Norton, pull the handle.
Red chair.
When I've just been telling what happened to me on Sunday, Jimmy has commented, I'll just put this up on the screen, saying, can I go to the toilet more often? Yes, I can, and I will. So I plan on spending Sunday, I'll spend Sunday in the bathroom out the way, don't worry. John Roy, 1984, said, I once accidentally broke my brother's cheekbone and eye socket. There's no explanation as to how or why this happened. But because of this, he had to be picked up early at a match the following day, and he missed the last 15 minutes. So he was absolutely gutted. But he was even more gutted when he got home to find out Philippe Albert had added a fifth and scored the greatest goal. So that's absolutely devastating.
Saw the first 4 goals though, didn't he?
Sorry,
I'm not going to do this to every story. It'll get old very quick. Sorry.
This is the last time anybody replies to one of Jess's tweets. Matty comes on and be like, bullshit.
Actually.
Chris is wondering, has Matty been on the drink all day?
A lightweight.
Right, well, this next one, we had quite a few people mention it. So I'll mention the people as we go through, but this is the first story that came through for this one. The game against Norwich in the Championship. Quite a lot of people seem to be sat in St James's metro station when the 2 goals went in. We had one from Lumberjack Lamar on Twitter. We had I'm Rob M, who we've had on the podcast before. Rob was one who missed it as well. And there was a few more. Lee Forster said that he missed Peacock's winning goal at the Old Den in 1991. And aged 11, he missed Peter Beardsley's late equaliser at home to Man United because he was so cold that he thought he was going to die. So his big brother took him home. He was halfway down the Gallowgate stairs when the roar went up, and he's never left an NUFC game early since. So let that be a lesson here. That we've got Rob again mentioning the 4-3 with Norwich, but then Rob also sent in a ritual what he has, and this was one of my favourite replies out of all of the ones that we got. He's got a ritual of not eating anything whilst NUFC are playing, whether he's at home or at the game, doesn't matter, he just doesn't eat. And the reason behind it is because when he was younger and Shearer bagged that second goal against Spurs in the FA Cup semi-final, he spilled a full Sunday dinner all over it when he was celebrating. And
I love how he's like making it a ritual, but like he's going on hunger strike or anything, but it's just literally 90 minutes he doesn't have to eat for.
Yeah. Just have more match-friendly foods.
Oh my!
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I'm not going to him. I'm just saying.
What is friendly
sandwich?
I don't like anyone eating anything because the lad behind me, who sits at the match, had curry and chips one time, and we scored, and they went up, and they didn't land on us, but I wasn't even looking at the goal. I was more petrified that these curry and chips were going to land on my head.
So it's not match friendly. He's probably sat there with a tray. Oh man, serious game, semi-final FA Cup. I'm just saying.
He was a kid, wasn't he? This is a long time ago. He would have just.
Was he in a high chair? Was he in a high chair? I'll excuse me if he was in a high chair.
Rob was in a high chair.
I always make me mum thingy the Sunday dinner around the game. So Sunday gone, it was 1 o'clock, so that it was done.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Daryl said that he entered a turnstile 9 for a whole season in the hope that we wouldn't lose. And he used to buy a programme every game, but he stopped because we weren't winning. But he doesn't say when it was, but I can imagine that could have been any season ever. So, Irish Mags NUFC missed Hayden's last. I imagine quite a few people might have missed this one. Missed Hayden's last-minute header against Chelsea last season. He left the pub literally 30 seconds before to go and meet up with his fiancée, and was with her and her friends for the rest of the evening. And he only found out that we'd won when he saw it on Match of the Day the next morning.
No way.
I don't know how. Irish Mags NUFC, how did you avoid it? Because that was last year. So this is like in the age of social media. 24-hour news, like how on
I can't even watch a stream without my phone letting me know, like, 2
Yeah.
minutes before that a goal's gone in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the curse of the Gallowgateshots group, that, like.
Yeah,
I can only watch streams.
Laura's the worst for it. That's a weird message, and I'm just like,
We had one from Josh, who's at Not So Local Hero. I think it's Josh's birthday today, so happy birthday, Josh. He said, if I'm watching on TV and we go 1-0 up, I have to stand directly in front of the TV and can't sit down until we either go 2-0 up or concede. And he can't turn the volume up or down if we're in the lead, which is quite weird, but I kind of understand it. That's kind of like a volume on an odd number.
Yeah,
He
definitely pressed mute. He must have pressed mute when Joelinton scored them because
so I do kind of understand that when you score like a big goal or something, you don't want to change anything around you, do you? Like just in case. Joshua Nickel said, "Oh, this is another one about the Norwich one. He missed that game to finish his homework." Missed one of the best games of the season. Alex Wilson, I'm assuming this was a ritual. I don't know if it was a superstitious one or what, but Alex Wilson, before discovered he was allergic to gluten, he used to go to Greg's and get 2 cheese onion pasties before the match. I don't know if that was a superstition or just a habit or what. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Paul Slee said, during one of the best comebacks under Pardew was the Arsenal comeback, and I left at half-time. Ended up watching the second half in Shearer's bar because he was on a works night out later that evening, and he's vowed never to leave a game early again. I mean, he's still got to watch it, as Matty would probably say. He was still on there. He's still got to watch it.
Yeah, but, was that me? Was that me you've just done there? That's not even out like me. At least he has regret, though, so I'll respect him. What was his name? Which one was that? What was his name?
Paul Slee.
Paul.
Paul.
I respect you, Paul, because you regret it.
If you're going to leave, though, like, why do you go to Shearer's bar?
Yeah, just downstairs. That's what I don't get. If you've got somewhere to be, I need to go home.
You may as well stay
downstairs.
Yeah.
David Armstrong said the one time that he left a game early was, it's the same one. Sorry, it's the same one again. I'm reading the same thing. And, we've got another one for Norwich. He left the game early as well to catch a train home to Edinburgh. So that's understandable. You can understand why he was leaving because that was a nighttime game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I can understand. We'll forgive you, David Armstrong. Matty, do you forgive him as well? Is that okay?
Yeah, he's all right.
Liam McMickle, another one for the Norwich game. He heard the equaliser as he left the ground and he's never left the game early since then. Mal Hall said Brighton away in the Championship because he was conscious about missing his last train back to London and desperately needed the loo. So he started pissing in a urinal when he heard a huge scream and found out that he'd missed the Perez winner. That's devastating.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Seen the Army score though.
Yeah, so you got to see one of the best goals ever.
Swings and roundabouts. Andrew Trotter said that he used to have a pair of lucky black jeans and a lucky blue jumper, which he changed into before the '98 Cup final. I got some strange looks changing out of a Newcastle shirt, so I'm guessing he went to the game in his Newcastle top and then got changed into his lucky outfit as he was going.
I didn't get that. Just put it on before you leave.
That's what I'm understanding from that. Another one for the Norwich game. And then Adam Pearson has said he bets on Newcastle to win every time we play, no matter what. Not a good superstition, but it's one I always end up doing. I never ever bet on Newcastle.
One of my rituals. I never ever.
I never used to.
Was it the Brighton game? I think half of Gallowgateshots group chat had put like win 2-0 or something like that, and we got absolutely hammered.
Shell's like the master of correction.
She cleans up.
Yeah.
Well, or does she? I don't want to tell her about her money and stuff, but she wins a lot. I'm just saying, there might be a mystery bid for the club.
Amanda Staveley's gotten out on Shell. Shell's coming in.
She will pass that director's test. She wrote it.
Fit and proper, just fit and proper. Mickey Egg said that the worst one for him was when we beat Chelsea 3-0 in the last game of the season. He didn't realise the game was televised, so he used Twitter and BT Sports Score. And after the game had finished, he flicked the channel over and realised that it was on the telly.
Oh my God.
That's absolutely sickening. We've got Ian Dayton. He's another one who left at half-time for the Arsenal 4-0. And to this day, he can't for the life of him remember what the score was. Well, Ian, it was 4-4 and you missed 4 goals. So Mr. H said his lockdown... Right, this one, everyone bear with us because I read this one earlier and it's a lot. Mr. H, lockdown match ritual. Change my drink for the next match when they don't play well. It's fair enough. But have to match my tracksuit to the colour of the beer can. My Stones can Despicable Me Bad Guy combo is my favourite draw card. Seemed a good idea at the time, but I now have lots of tracksuits.
What was his name?
This is Mr. H.
Isn't that the heel out of Line of Duty? Isn't he the bad guy out of Line of Duty? Is that on him now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Watches the show.
Not only have we discovered people's rituals, we've figured out Line of Duty. You might as well cancel the rest of the series. We've got him. He's here.
Chris is going to kill her for bringing up Line of Duty on the podcast. He was fuming in the group chat, never mind on the podcast.
There's been, I think, in the Gallowgateshots group chat, there's probably been more Line of Duty talk than Newcastle United talk over the last few weeks. But yeah, we've just found H, so there's nothing really else to talk about now. Mscare666 said, Man United at home 2003, left at the first bar at half time as they were 4-1 down, and then she said, I think. And I thought the bar was bad luck. Superstition was uncalled for. Next bar for the second half, result lost 6-2. Still superstitious about leaving the room. So that's another one, bit of quite similar to me. And David McGivern, will end with this one. David McGivern's ritual is never leave early, which, given the last 13 years, seems the weirdest ritual of all. But it's a lesson. I'm sure Matty approves of that one. I've personally never left early. I think we talked about it last week.
Was it a while back? Was it? We talked about turning the games off at the moment, didn't we?
Yeah.
So when it gets to the last 3 or 4 minutes, we've just been, or even a bit earlier, we turn the games off.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it kind of like leaving the game early? And I was like, it's nothing like leaving the game early.
Yeah.
Because right now, the match day was, we could still sit and see your mates and go on to the pub after. Whereas this is you sat in your house doing absolutely fuck all except for getting drunk, and then you have to watch this shit and then you just turn it off. So yeah.
It's because I like even games like I think I don't know if it was last week or whenever it was, but when we've talked about it, because I'd turned off the Brighton game, and it was I honestly think that might have been the first time I've ever turned off a game early, and I've never left a game early either. So I can fully vouch for that. And this is the one I used as the example, even the Aston Villa game when we were 3-0 down and we'd had 3 players sent off, and I was still stayed with me granddad till the end. Never ever left a game early. And David McGivern has just said that's his ritual, and I think everyone should stick to it as well.
Yeah.
Have you got any? That was everyone from Twitter. Thank you so much, everyone who replied to that. All brilliant as always. But I'll come to you lot next. Anyone want to jump in? If you've missed anything, any goals, any incidents, if you've got any rituals, just throw them at.
I also never leave early, apart from one time, and I was going out with the girls, and it was Saturday night, and the game was dire. Everyone hated Pardew. We were getting beat 2-0 off Hull. And I was like, like I said to my dad and his friends, look, I'm going to go. I'm going to go and start getting ready. I'm going out. So I got at the bottom. I got at the Strawberry, and I heard the cheer. And I was like, I've missed a goal. And then I got a bit further down, And then I heard the second cheer and I was like, oh, and then I just got loads of messages off all the people sitting around us saying, you're not welcome back. And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, brilliant.
Maybe we never left that. Never.
But then the only other, like I say, I've never really missed any because I don't leave. But my dad, when we played Barnsley, last game of the championship season, my dad went to the toilet and couldn't get back to a seat. The steward wouldn't let him or something. And he missed the last few minutes when Gayle scored and we really realised Grealish had scored. So, like, he didn't miss it as such.
Yeah, that's so strange. Yeah. Because he missed the reaction to a goal that wasn't scored at St James's Park.
Yeah, I know. So he missed, like I said to him today when we were talking about it, I was like, I know, but you didn't miss it because you've seen it. He went, I know, but I missed the celebrating with everyone around us.
Yeah.
So he missed, like, the reaction to it, which was quite sad. But, yeah.
I wonder why he wasn't allowed back in.
Maybe, actually, that might be a lie. Maybe he just couldn't be asked to walk down the stairs. I think that was it.
He sold you this story of him being a martyr and being, the man wouldn't let me back in.
Touching on the Norwich game that everybody left, like, and I know Matty had some strong words for them, but was that the nighttime game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my dad had just had a knee replacement and we were parked in Manaz car park, which is like a proper mission away, and we stayed till the end and we nearly got locked in Manaz car park because it shut at 10 o'clock and we had to leg it with my dad, like, limping, and we never left early. So no one should have left early because we didn't, and we nearly got locked in Manaz car park.
The only goal I've ever missed, right? This is a terrible story, so I don't know why I'm telling it. I used to go when I was at uni. We used to go and watch, like, every other reserve game used to be at St James's Park. So we went and watched it in, like, the dead of winter, and I think it was Arsenal versus Newcastle, and it was one of the coldest I've ever been at Newcastle game, and it was only 500 people there, and I was just freezing me watsits off, and my mate was like, didn't care much about Newcastle. I was like, oh, well, let's go to the pub. I saw the board go up 4 minutes. I was like, right, you're right, let's go. I went to the Goose and Phil Airy. Remember him? Phil Airy scored in the last minute. That's the only time I've ever missed a goal at a game, but it was a reserve game. So,
oh, well. Don't think it really matters.
It doesn't count.
The only time I haven't missed a goal, I don't believe, but the only time I left early was that 3-1. It was a 3-0 against Sunderland. It was when James Vaughan, is that his name?
No, David Vaughan.
Yeah, David Vaughan had just curled one in top corner because I even remember being like, oh shit, he's not going to score. This will be all right. 5 minutes later, I was sat in the Leazes end when I had my season ticket. He absolutely curled it in, and maybe like. Well, I think. Do you remember that day at all? I think that was the day when that guy punched the horse. So I
think it was. Yeah, DiCanio's first game.
Yeah,
when he ran up the thing.
Yeah. So I'd left as soon as that hit the back of the net. I was straight off down with me mate. And me mate at the time, his brother owned the Dog and Parrot. We ended up getting locked in the Dog and Parrot while there was like riot police all over the place.
I was locked in Mushroom.
I didn't get out of Newcastle for hours after that game, even though I left early. But then, like, when I was a waiter, maybe like a year or two ago, I ended up serving David Vaughan. I just, like, I was taking his order. I was just like, I give him a few pelters for it. But
what did you do? What did you do with his food, Jack?
He did, cold. Scratch my head before.
The one game I wanted to leave. The one game I really wanted to leave early. If the one time I've went to go right, I'm done. Was the 6-0 against Liverpool. When they just tortured us, and Barini came on and scored and everything, and I was just like, well, even he scored. So I went to sort of put my hands on my knees and get up, and my dad sort of I was a toddler, just full on put his hand on my knee. I'm 26, 25 at the time. He sits me down. He's like, you stay when they win, so you stay when they lose. And I was like, oh God, that's just stupid. But whatever else there, it made sense, but it was so stupid.
Was that when he scored the penalty? Was it?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a penalty or what, but I remember Sturridge doing his stupid dance in front of me, and I hated it so much.
We've got one here from
Solid.
solid. The only time that I've missed a goal is the only time I've ever been late getting to my seat. Man City at home. I can't.
I've missed goals early.
I'm never late either.
Never. No. Nah. You know.
That was the teacher again. Sorry.
But yeah, if he's got any like superstitions or like so obviously on Sunday, because we scored and I was out the room both times, I didn't go back in. Is there anything like that you would do?
Just the day in general. Like I always start the match day off in the same way and go to the same pub, walk the same way, same turnstile, get there at the same time, leave the pub at the same time to get there. Just things like that. I never ever bet on Newcastle. Even on Super 6, I always put 1-1. No matter who we're playing, Man City, Liverpool, anyone, I always put 1-1. I've never had 5 points, I don't think.
I think my only thing I mentioned to use before the podcast was obviously I work weekends. So and at the minute I've probably not watched a full season for a good 4-5 years. So being furloughed and getting to watch all the games, we're now heading towards relegation. So
you're not allowed.
It's gonna work, Jack.
Yeah. It's Boris's fault. I'll blame Boris. It's Boris's fault. I should be at work. Like,
we're gonna stay up because you're back to work next week.
Yeah. Really.
You heard it here first. We're staying up.
If we start
I'm getting tipped over by Shell.
It'll be my fault why Bruce gets a new contract at the end of the season.
I have this weird one where, like, and I mean, it's so strange because obviously we've been in lockdown for 60 years, and like obviously a lot of us came to the channel and we haven't been able to like go out and meet each other in person. So I think when I'm going to say this word and it might get us done in, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think when we all watch the game together, you're going to realise how much of an insufferable cunt I am when I watch.
I think that was the one word. I'm pretty sure that's the one word Chris said. Don't say.
Well, we can change that. It's fine. It's live. It's live. Like. I am though because I'm so.
We've all worried about putting Rich Oliver on.
Yeah. Do you know, like people who like a constant prophets of doom, and 9 times out of 10 their prophecies don't come true, but when they do come true, they're like, "I told you, didn't I tell you it was going to happen? I told you he was going to score, didn't I?" So I'm always like that. So like, and so I'm just like this person who's like, if I move here, they're going to score, and if I move, so I think it's OCD or something. But if we're winning and I'm not at the game, I will walk for the last 5 minutes. I'll walk out of the house and I'll put a stopwatch on, like time will go faster. Like so, I put me like Fitbit on my phone and I look at it and I swear down, on my mother's life, this has happened. Where like I'm walking around the block and I'm going like, come on lads, all right then, they're not going to equalise, shut up, mate, don't even think about that, otherwise it's going to happen. And this one time I was pure talking to myself and it was in like May and like a wasp came near me and I started proper like freaking out. So this person walking his dog saw me looking at my phone talking to myself and then like slapping this wasp away from my ear. I reckon he thought I'd escaped from like hospital or something like that. But I swear down, that's my craziness. I get so wound up about it. And so like told you so, it's horrible. You probably don't want to ever watch a match with us.
I've got a massive feeling you're not going to be invited on the Gallowgateshots.
Well, I've just dropped the C-bomb, so.
I know, he said it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Chris has said, he called Boris one the other week, so it's all good. And
You haven't got the minerals, Rich. I'm sorry, by the way. I just want to put a disclaimer out there that you should never say that ever. Eat your minerals and vitamins. Sorry.
People will be complaining Ofcom after this.
Surprised I'm being taken off. Yes, that was everyone's superstitions, things that they've missed. Some more weird than others. Maddie, not looking at anyone in particular. So we've got another game on Sunday to put these superstitions into practice. And we'll play Burnley 12 o'clock Sunday at Turf Moor. They are only, which I hadn't actually realised. I think I've been so focused on what's below us that I haven't actually paid much attention to who's above us. So I hadn't realised that there's actually only 4 points between us and Burnley. So they're right in the thick of it as well. I mean, there's still plenty of games to go in the season, so they're also, I would say, in the mix of in the midst of the relegation battle. They are going into this game off the back of a defeat to Southampton on Sunday, and obviously we're going in off the back of a draw. Laura, can you see us building any momentum from Sunday?
Yeah, I actually am feeling quite positive about it, because I think we had the chances, and I think it was definitely a point gained in my eyes, and I would hope the players felt the same, because we should have won. I know we didn't win, but we should have, and the chances were there. So go to Burnley, who again were 2-0 up and then lost, so their confidence is going to be knocked. Our confidence is going to be high. So I'm hoping it reflects in a good way. It could, just because I am a bit superstitious like that and I don't want to be all positive, it could have the opposite effect, and Burnley could come and be like so determined to like turn that round. So, but no, I'm going to go back to me positive and be. I think it'll be the chances missed, and I think the team in the setup, I hope, would be relatively similar in the attack and threat, and the positivity would be the same, because it pretty much nearly worked against Spurs, who are, I know they weren't on the day, but they're a decent, what your class is, decent team. So go to Burnley, who are around us, and attack.
Yeah, I personally think that it seemed that I kind of got the impression that, especially with the likes of Matt Ritchie, in that like the players are almost taking it into their own hands.
Yeah,
like,
we've said that before, haven't we?
In terms of like tactics and stuff, but in terms of like motivation. So, Matty, do you think that, regardless of what Bruce tells them or doesn't tell them to do on Sunday, do you think that the players will be going into this with like a mindset to?
I know what you mean.
Like, because they looked like they had a bit more of a fight about them on Sunday, which I can't see that's come from Bruce. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's their own doing. So do you think they'll carry that through into Sunday?
Yeah, well, tinfoil hat on. Like, I mean, like, you look at what the game that came before the Tottenham game, that was the Brighton game, which we all know what happened there. But we also know that the noises and the non-existing moles told us that they were very surprised when he didn't get sacked. They thought he'd been sacked. And I'd like to think Newcastle players wouldn't do this, but some of the quotes, like Clark saying, we just went up for it, whatever. Like, I'd like to think that some Newcastle players genuinely wanted Bruce sacked that night. And then after putting in that horrible performance and I'm not getting sacked, I think they realised, well, shit, this is it. Like, we either want to be Premier League footballers or we don't. So I guess we just take it into our own hands. And I'm not saying Steve, if they went above Steve Bruce's head and they've started playing their own formations, but maybe they've realised that we're going to get relegated if we don't put our ideas up. So regardless of what we think about the manager, let's crack on. Now, I know that sounds a bit conspiracy theorist-ish, but I just have this feeling to go from Brighton to Tottenham and having the attempts that we did. You just hope, like Laura said, we just play exactly the same way. We might concede goals. We might even draw the game, but at least we can look at it and go, bloody hell, we tried there.
No, I don't want to draw the game, though. I think I draw the line at drawing against Spurs. I think when you when you look at the fixtures, though, Tottenham wasn't one that I thought would get anything.
I know.
The fixtures coming up.
We can't keep drawing either, because I think all we do at the minute.
All right, we're gonna get beat then. Jeez.
I'm Matty. There's no need to spit your tummy out.
I've got no dummies left.
Jack, how are you feeling about Sunday, Jack? Do you think we'll build on it, or do you think Sunday was maybe just a bit of a fluke?
I don't want to sound too positive, but I think we're actually going to win. It's an odd one for me, because I feel like, do you change the team that played well against Spurs, or do you see that you've got Callum Wilson coming back in, Saint-Maximin's back in? Do you go back to that sort of split striker false nine with Miggy, and go back to that sort of 4-3-3 formation, or do we stick to Matt Ritchie at wing back, Jacob Murphy? Because I think the way you look at it is they both had a good game, and it's same with Joelinton. He had a good game. Is Bruce going to say, right, Wilson and Saint-Maximin are fit? Are we going to change the formation and go approach? Because we did play quite well at home against Burnley. Saint-Maximin and Wilson both scored.
Single-handedly won the game.
Yeah. So it's a hard one, really. It's do you say, right, these players performed well against Spurs, so they deserve another chance to carry on that form, or do we change the formation, change the lineup, and it could potentially go terribly wrong? Like that comment below there, it is a must-win. I think this is the last must-win. We keep saying Brighton's a must-win. Half of them are must-wins, but I think when you look at the fixture list, this is a must-win because after this, it's Sheffield United. Probably the next game that you think we can get something from it. So there's no more cup finals. There's no more must-wins. We can't draw it. We can't lose it. It just has to be 3 points. And I think if we get 3 points, I think we've got enough to just stay up there. But it's unpredictable. We've never had a really good. Have we beat Burnley away? I can't remember.
Beat them under Rafa. It was one of the rare away games I was there. We won 2-1. Both centre half.
Can't say the R word.
Yeah, sorry.
Blasphemy.
I'm making a habit of saying words I can't say tonight.
You can't say the R word, you can't say the C word. It's the rule.
They beat them 2-1 about 2-3 seasons ago. 2-1. I remember Ritchie missing a sitter, actually. But anyway... But we've had some awful results there. They're always really bad games at Turf Moor.
I think touching on your point, Jack, though, about what team he'll play, I think it reminded us of the whole Dubravka Darlow argument. And I think I'm a bit torn because I think Bruce, he claims he's a great manager and people give him the credit for that. I don't agree. But I think sometimes he might think, they had a good game, let's push on with them. But I also think, going back to Dubravka Darlow, if you've got your best team fit, your Maximums, your Wilson, if they're fit enough to play, surely you have to, especially Wilson anyway, who was a proven goal scorer.
Do you reward like form, or do you play the team that if they're coming back from injury, do you play a player that you know is the best one? You know what I mean? It is a hard one.
I think you should keep the same formation, but all he needs to tweak is Kraft needs to come out as centre back. That's not even an argument.
He needs to more than tweak him, man. He needs to rocket. I'm not saying he should die. I'm not saying he should die. I'm just saying
talking about international football. I mean, like Kraft's going to go play at the Euros, I think. So that's crazy in its own right. But
sorry.
What are you going to say about your sticker book, aren't you?
Oh God! So
Euro
sticker book, because I get every time there's a tournament. You know, the sticker book that comes out, the Panini one. I always get it every single year. Well, every other year. And I was so disappointed last year when the Euros were cancelled, mainly because I couldn't get me sticker book. So I got one this week on Sunday or Monday, whenever it was. Went to the shop, bought loads of packets of stickers. First packet I opened, first player I pulled out, Emil Kraft. I was like, are you taking that? Yes. I want to complete it, so I stuck them in, but I really wanted to rip them up as well.
Just drawing them. Yeah. But, the two changes I was going to say was, one, the obvious Kraft. Two, I know he's going to probably get a new contract, but if Wilson is fit, then Gale needs to come out for Wilson. I'd keep Joelinton just to give him one last chance of saying, you need to be consistent, and I want to see more from you. I'd pretty much keep the same formation, and I'd probably use the whole that 4-3-3 formation. I'd probably change that into the second half because we never really have like a plan B. So I'd quite like to see us go from the sort of Spurs formation, but then, I mean, they're not working on this at all. I know, fine, right? Bruce is probably sat at home, like, not thinking this at all. I'd make the two changes of Clark in for Kraft, whether he's left-footed or not. He's just a better centre-back. If you have to move Lascelles into that right-sided centre-back, I think you've got to have Kraft out, Gale out, Wilson in, Clark in, unless Fernandez...
Is Clark fit?
Is Wilson?
He was on the bench the other day, wasn't he?
He was on the bench, which, on
the bench.
So I don't know if it was something like he's picked up a little knock or he was a bit fatigued from the international break. But
Wilson starts training this week. That's what we've been told, isn't it? He's been starting proper training after this game.
I think we heard from somebody in the grapevines that he played an
11
v11s because there was rumours that he was going to be on the bench, and then we got another rumour from the grapevines again that it was going to be ASM and not Wilson. But
that wine tastes shit from them grapevines. Like.
But yeah, I'd quite like to see. I'd quite like to see them two changes, but then second half, if it's not quite working out, it's 0-0 or 1-1. Then bring Saint-Maximin on, maybe bring Longstaff off for Willock and go back to that 4-3-3. But I mean, for all I know, Shelby's probably going to start as centre back, so he's probably got some ideas watching that game, thinking, you know what, John Joe at centre back. He's got his arm around John Joe, being like, "I tell you what, mate."
Yap Stam was bald. Yap Stam was bald.
John Joe, have you ever thought about changing your number to the number 6, mate? I've got a brilliant idea. So.
Yeah, he'll think he's a genius now. Right, we'll quickly get some predictions from you. Laura, what do you think here?
1-0 to us.
To us. Matty?
1-1. I think it's 1-1. Sorry.
1-1. Jack?
I think we're going to win 1-0, but I think, we just need some good karma. I heard good karma, though, is if you look at the bottom, you can become a Gallowgateshots member. So if you join the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel as a member, we actually will win on the weekend. So if you believe in good karma like I do, sign up to the channel. We've got plenty of fancy videos. I mean, I'm doing my speed art video, trying to sell the channel here now. But believe in good karma and we'll win 1-0.
I don't believe in karma, but we will genuinely lose if you don't sign up to the channel.
Yeah.
We've been taught superstitions and rituals. We've all heard if you don't sign up to be a member, that we'll lose on Sunday. So if it gets Sunday,
that is the main ritual is if we haven't had at least 5 to 10 members sign up off this video alone, we're not going to win. So it's your fault if you haven't signed up today.
when it gets to 2 p.m. on Sunday, we'll be having a look and seeing whose name is on the list. And if you're not on the list, I'm afraid it's your fault.
You sound like the weirdest Santa in the world.
Oh, don't mention Santa.
No, well, that's never going to see the light of day. Shush.
But yes, and my prediction is, oh God, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. I think 2-1 us, maybe. Who knows? No, I'm not. I haven't got a clue. I'm just guessing.
I mean, it'll be 2-0 if people just sign up to the membership.
It's gone again.
Joelinton brace. We get a 50. Joelinton.
If you want a Joelinton hat-trick, go watch the new speed art video I'll upload.
The goal that we've conceded is because you haven't signed up to be a member.
Yeah, you're watching this now.
Yeah. It's gone from rituals and karma and superstitions to just threats now.
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
Oh, it's quite fitting for a Newcastle United podcast, isn't it? Let's leave it there, shall we? It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been lovely to be joined. Just have a nice little Gallowgateshots fam outing.
Family podcast.
In preparation for that night out that we do eventually get, where we will find out what Matty's really like. Might have to get some videos. That I tell you what, that can be an exclusive channel member early access video. Just a diary of Matty on our first night out. So sign up to be a member. And that's
like
the
vlog.
You'll lose members if you say that.
Just find out just how insufferable Matty is. Tune in next week. Yes, thank you so much to everyone who's been watching. Thank you so much to everyone who's been commenting. I have seen them, but there's just so many that it's hard to keep on top and hold a conversation. I wouldn't be very good on like this morning or something.
Has there been any questions we've missed? I can't see the chat. So
Brian Twiddle said Chris Wood's a tosser, and I'm inclined to agree because he ruined Good Friday for me. And, you know how much I love Jesus. So,
well, don't we all? It's been a pleasure. Don't forget to share the video, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your dad.
Become a member.
Become a member. Like, share, subscribe, do all of the above. If you don't do any of it, we're
down. Yeah.
When you're tuning next, we can all be really depressed because we've lost again, and it's because of you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, hopefully with another positive. I think it's been quite positive.
It's not been bad since the last time I was on.
But yes, thank you so much everyone for watching. We'll be back next week, and as I've just said before, like, share and subscribe to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. We'll see you later.
Take care.